See if anybody wants to join in today. We talk about a couple of things. I apologize to anybody who was looking out last night for us to get down on a, bless you, son, on a live. I had one scheduled for last night, and you know, I wasn't able to go through with it, you know, because part of it is just when you got responsibilities beyond yourself and got little children, you know, things just, anything can happen at any moment, you know, so that's just the way it go. But that's part of finding balance. You can't dismiss your responsibilities and duties in this realm to do things in another space. So you have to make sure that you can find a happy medium. But we will get it in though. But real quick, I want to talk about today is Super Bowl Sunday. This is March 4th. And why is that even worth talking about? Well, Super Bowl is a big time ritual. And for the past, I guess, 3 years or so, I've been talking about Super Bowls on broadcast, on Blog Talk, and breaking down the significance of each one and the ritual. So this year we got the New England Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and I want to talk about the significance of this one. This is Super Bowl 52. Now, if you go back somewhere in Matthew's, and I think it's an account in Matthew and Mark, where Jesus feeds the multitude with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Okay? Now, what do you have there? You have 5 and 2. 5 and 2 is a year. That's completion, because that's 52 weeks. Also, 5 times 2 equals 10. Again, talking about completion. Now, Tom Brady has been designated as the Christ figure of the NFL. This was after the millennium. He was determined, or it was decided upon, that he would be the Christ figure of the NFL. Now, he wears the number 12, so it all lines up. Now, Michael Jordan is considered to be, in many regards, the greatest athlete ever, because he did the unimaginable. He won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls. And part of this is Tom Brady has to be placed into above Michael Jordan, which we know that's mundane, but it's a reflection of something more significant. Now, and let me tell you what it is. The story that we're told growing up about the American Revolution is nothing but a fiction. We're told that this group of transplants from England or Great Britain or whatever you want to call it came over here looking to forge a new destiny, and they stood up against the tyranny of the British Crown, and they wanted to form a democracy, and you know, they were against aristocracy and all of this and blah blah blah, and the founding fathers. The real truth is that these men, Franklin, Jefferson, Washington, Rush, Webster, as in Noah Webster, these men were sent here on a commission, on a charter, to extend the British Crown. Now, what Great Britain understood from a historical perspective, and every empire has studied since, is the fall of Rome. And I may have said that backwards. Since the fall of Rome, let me put it in proper context, every other upstart empire has studied their rise and their demise. Okay. Now, one of the things that brought about the fall of the Roman Empire is that they overextended themselves. Okay? You had the Western Roman Empire, you had the Eastern Roman Empire, and they stretched too far. They couldn't take care of their soldiers, they couldn't defend the crown and all of the different areas that it had stretched to, and that started to the crumbling of the Roman Empire. So what Great Britain had to do was to use a more metaphysical approach to extending the crown, where you send out people and it looks as though they are at a certain point in opposition to you, and they fight against you supposedly to establish a new government or system. That's called a Hegelian dialectic. The Hegelian dialectic is something we always talk about. It's about our number one goal is to overcome duality. All right, the appearance of duality. Well, the Hegelian dialectic is a philosophical tool of conquest that is based on Hermeticism. So what they do is they set up 2 points to look like they're in opposition to bring about a final reality. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Facts. Okay, so they had to create this whole myth, this fiction that these founding fathers were fighting against the tyranny of Great Britain. Now, understand, Great Britain was the dog of the planet at the time, meaning that they ran things. So we'd be silly to think that, like Bobby Hemming used to say, a little ragtag army came and overthrew the British. It was all set up. Now, what does this have to do with metaphysics? Well, part of it I just told you, but the other aspect is to not fall into the trap that Rome fell into. They had to extend the crown without it being a literal extension or outright extension. So that's why England, okay, stay with me now, we're going to start coming home with it. That's why England comes over and we have something called New England. That's why a province in Britain called York, you come over and you have a New York. There's a Jersey. And then we end up with a New Jersey. There's Brunswick. And we end up with a New Brunswick. Okay? Because the objective was that was the original 3D printing. The template was made in Britain, and then it was in America. So New England, that area, Boston, Massachusetts, Connecticut, that whole area is the founding area of this fictitious body that rules this landmass. Now notice the geography. The northeast. Everything they did was based on Egypt or Kemet or Tamari, which is located in the northeast of Africa. Where does the Muslim turn to pray? The northeast. So what does this really coincide with in the body? You always can come back to your body and find the answers. Well, for one, there's two ways to look at directions when you are applying it to your body. The north can be the top of your head. Of course, the south would be your feet. Left would be your west. Your right would be your east. There's also another way of, your front is your east, your back is your west. Now here's the other way to look at it. Your left hand is the north, your right hand is the south, your front is the east, your back is the west. You ever heard the term evil comes from the north? That's talking about the left hand path. All right. Well, if we take the latter, where the front is the east and the left is the north, what would be the northeast in your body? It would be your heart. Your heart is in the northeast. It's on the left side of your sternum, and it is on the east side. The left is north, and it's in the front of you. That's the east. That is the northeast. That means it is the heart of that body of land. So when they put the headquarters in the northeast, that is the epicenter of these United States. That's why your first university in 1636 is built in the northeast, which is Harvard University, Boston, Massachusetts. So when you see the New England Patriots, it's not just about football. It is about renewing the spirit of what has been accepted as Americanism. This has to be renewed in the minds of the people. What's going to happen? We know it's going to be some bullshit. It's going to be some cheating. But the way it's been set up, these are all masterfully set up. All of these games. Now, you got the Eagles versus the Patriots. Now, Hakeem Bey said this one time in one of his lectures that the counterfeits can only go to 32 degrees because 32 degrees is the temperature of frozen water. They are frozen. And to go beyond 32, you have to have full actualization and trying to think of the word, actualization and access, that's what I'm going to say, to your pineal gland. All right? So when you see this cat comes out today and they're going to set the game up and rig it up for their Christ to be anointed, It is them trying to insinuate that they have gone beyond 32 and have gone into 360